The Prince of Wales broke down shortly after steaming away from the south coast on Saturday. The £3 billion aircraft carrier, a recent history of teething problems. She became stranded in Portsmouth 2 years ago after a serious electrical problem. There were a couple of serious leaks as well. Well, we're going to try and take the long view. Not the first time a state-of-the-art warship has experienced problems after setting off from Portsmouth's naval base in 1545. The Mary Rose, Henry VIII's flagship, famously sank in the Solent after listing heavily following a gust of wind. Actually, I'm not sure. I mean, there isn't a definitive account of how she went down. Her wreckage raised in 1982 and now sits as a fascinating museum exhibit. Let's ponder on this with David Abulafia, Professor of Mediterranean History at the University of Cambridge. Professor, thanks so much for your time. The loss of the Mary Rose, I mean, the Prince of Wales has we presume, a fairly minor mechanical problem, not serious, whereas obviously the Mary Rose was lost, if not with all hands, then most of them. That was a real blow to the military prestige of the country of the day.
Yes, indeed. I mean, it's thought that there were about 500 sailors and soldiers on board, and only 35 at most survived. Though compared to the Prince of Wales, I think, has 1,200 crew, which probably includes everything from cooks through to, well, I wouldn't say admirals, but somewhere up the top. So actually the numbers are not that far apart when you think about it. But the interesting thing about you mentioned the sinking of the Mary Rose, and it looks like incompetence. I mean, there are many possible explanations, but it looks as if the gun ports on one side were not closed, and a gust of wind caught the boat shifted, the water started rushing in, and apparently within minutes it was, at the bottom of the sea. The great difference, of course, is that it was a battle. This was a battle, and it was a battle taking place in the Solent. So, really, just off the Isle of Wight. I mean, it was part of this series of wars between Henry VIII and the French, which were all bound up, as you say, with issues of prestige. These two kings who were very similar in character and were always trying to sort of outclass one another.